there's a secret for all mothers.
Oh, tell us.
How you elevate your table will be how your children behave at the table. If we just
Oh,
slap some food on the table, come and get it, and they just come in and eat and go, well, you just don't know what they're going to do. I mean, there's nothing to it. But when you set a table
hmm,
and you maybe put some flowers and you maybe do some other things to make it special. In fact, as your children are growing, you're not doing everything. You're teaching them
right.
how to do it. And sometimes on the different occasions you'll make special name places with little special words for each child. And your children come to the table, they are not going to all be grumpy, misbehaving, knocking one another. No, they are in awe.
My husband serves me really well and serves our girls really well. And I'm definitely the more selfish one of the two of us. I really like to have my way. I want to have what I want when I want it. And through the years, and as we've grown together as a married couple, I noticed that he's more intentional about serving me. And so it makes me, like you said, it makes me want to serve him in return. And there are often times where I'll just notice a need, maybe he needs his water filled, or maybe he, needs something, when I say his water filled, he always has a cup of water with him all the time, every moment of the day. So, I'll notice that his cup is empty or something. And I'll just think, okay, if if he were, serving me, he would ask me, oh, can I get you some water? Or can I, heat up some food for you or whatever. And so it makes me want to serve him in return. And it really does work that way. When you said, when we start thinking about the way the Lord would do things
Yes,
and we
and
offer that to our husband, they in turn offer that back to us.
true. And right from the beginning, I've always loved to serve my husband, to feed him. I love to serve him breakfast. I serve him every meal.
Oh,
And I've always made it just, the pattern of my life that every night that he comes home, I have the meal ready for him. I've always done it, our
mhm.
whole life. And, I realize that I know there are many my husband doesn't know how to cook. He makes the coffee. That's about what he does. And but there are husbands who do love to cook and get in the
Sure.
kitchen. But the thing is, I do believe it's our responsibility. Maybe he's never had to do it because I've made it my responsibility. But we have the responsibility to manage our homes,
Hmm.
to feed our families. Today, in this world in which we're living, many wives are not caring about that,
Right.
nor are they doing it. They don't see it as their role. Is a very foundational role of marriage,
Right.
and then continuing into motherhood is the feeding of our families. And it starts with the first to feed our husband. And I think it's very important that, we have a meal ready for our husband when he comes in, when he is going to be ready for that meal in the evening, so we can all sit down as a family together. And, it's not, oh, husband comes home, oh, goodness me, you want some food? Oh, well, and nothing's really ready. That doesn't show that we're thinking about them
Mm.
or wanting to serve them. And this is a very basic role of a wife, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah. 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 This goes back to Titus too. And you talk about it being a responsibility, but I think it's also a privilege
It
to
is.
be able to do those things. And you're really convicting me. Let me just tell you, because our listeners know, if they've been listening for a while, that I really do not enjoy being in the kitchen. And it is really an effort for me to prepare any meal for my family. But even this morning, my husband went to the gym and he came home. And while he was at the gym, I thought, you know what, he's going to be hungry when he comes home. And so I made an egg casserole so that it would be hot and ready when he got home. And he was so grateful for that. And he just kept saying, "This is so delicious. It's so delicious." And it blessed me because I know that it blessed him and he was so grateful for it. And so it really does. It's not just a chore that we do, but we get that blessing in turn, even if our husband doesn't thank us every day for doing those things, but because we're filling that God-given role that, of being a wife and being a mom and caring for our families,
Mm.
it really
Yes.
does bring so much delight to our family.
And as you did that, you got such joy in actually
Yes.
doing it for him. And, I think loads of women say that to me. Oh, I hate the kitchen and I'm not a good cook. And that's the last thing I want to do. I just do it because I have to. But, once again, it's all how we think.
Right.
We've got to change our thinking.
Right.
We do have to change our thinking because I think in our society today, it's become more and more, oh, well, he can do it, Of course, there's many women who aren't working, so, okay, he can cook the meal and so on. But, we go back to that scripture in 1 Timothy 5:14. I will therefore that the younger women, most translations say widows there, marry, bear children, guide the house, that there will be nothing that the enemy can say against them. And so that word guide the house in the Greek is oikodespoteo. Two words in the Greek, oikos, home, and then the other word is despotes, where you can kind of guess what's coming from that. It means to manage or
Mm.
rule the home,
Yeah.
which is pretty amazing. This is God has given us as women a sphere of rulership because it's not just men who want to rule; women want to rule too. There
Sure.
is something in us that wants to rule. Um, because what does God say in the beginning? Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue, and take dominion.
Yeah.
There is something there that we want to take dominion. And this is where deception comes in. Because God has given the woman a home.
Yeah.
A home, it's her domain that she takes dominion over. Dominion is taking, rule over a domain. She's queen of her home. And that's her role. And so that includes the feeding of her children and her husband and thinking, not just putting a meal together, but thinking of how she can just do it so beautifully. And,
Yeah.
and I remember hearing a little phrase once, make every meal a love affair.
Oh,
And I've
wow.
never forgotten it. I seek to do that. So it's not only cooking your meal, it's setting the table, it's
Hmm.
making it beautiful, it's preparing it so that your children are going to come round to just not some food just slapped on a naked table. I don't even believe in naked tables for sitting at the meal. No, we always have a tablecloth. Now, of course, we have to get into all those things. What about mothers with little children? Hell,
Sure.
they can't wash tablecloths every night. Well, they don't have to. I mean, you can buy the most beautiful, today especially, the most beautiful plastic tablecloths, and they even you can get lace ones. They look glorious. You just wipe them down, just as though you'd have to wipe your naked table.
Right.
And but you're just doing something special
Mm.
that draws your children, that makes even your husband feel, wow, you know, my wife, our mother, she loves us. She
Yeah.
wants to make this beautiful for us. And there's a secret for all mothers.
Oh, tell us.
How you elevate your table will be how your children behave at the table. If we just
Oh,
slap some food on the table, come and get it, and they just come in and eat and go, well, you just don't know what they're going to do. I mean, there's nothing to it. But when you set a table
hmm.
and you maybe put some flowers and you maybe do some other things to make it special. In fact, as your children are growing, you're not doing everything. You're teaching them
Right.
how to do it. And sometimes on the different occasions you'll make special name places with little special words for each child. And your children come to the table, they are not going to all be grumpy, misbehaving, knocking one another. No, they are in awe.
Mm.
Wow, this is beautiful. They sit up straight. It's amazing what
Wow.
happens. How the honor we put on the table will
Mm.
be how our children behave.
Yeah, I've never thought about that. That is so
Mhm.
beautiful. And it shows not just to our husbands, but to our children that they're worth
Yes.
it. They're worth the effort. And I
Mm.
appreciate that you said too, this is a great way for our children to be involved. It's not that mom has to do
Oh,
all these things.
no,
But with having our
no.
kids home with us as homeschool families, we get to teach our children etiquette. I mean, that is really, I think that is really lacking in our society
Oh,
today. And so
goodness.
teaching
Mm.
our kids proper etiquette, whether in the home or in a restaurant or in someone else's home, this is a great way to do that. And so I love that you talk about that. That's so fun.
Yes, I think I'm noticing, Yvette, that etiquette seems to be dying.
Yeah,
Um, and why? Because mothers are not passing it on to the next
uh,
generation.
sure.
We as mothers are the transmitters of God's truth and his ways
Yeah.
and the ways of life, which includes etiquette, onto the next generation. And
Yes.
sadly, this generation, many don't even know any manners or any etiquette
Sure.
at all. And but everything comes back to us.
Yeah.
We're the ones who have to pass it on.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.